of yester year. Now it's actually interesting, the 23rd of Adar, Chav Adar, marks the Hilula of Rav Shaul Fetaya Z'tl, very, very famous rabbi. He was born in the English year 1907, to be precise, on the 3rd, I believe, of June, and passed away in the year 1982 on the 18th of March. Naturally, there was a 23rd of Adar. He was a rabbi, he was a Kabbalist also, and also reported over to have been a dream interpreter. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous rabbi's life. Now, he was born actually in Baghdad, in Iraq, and remember that was like a bastion Torah flagship area on especially the early 20th century, respectively. His father was a famous Rabbi Yehuda Fetaya, a rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before. He happened to be a famous Kabbalist, very famous rabbi also. And I think his mother's name was Rabbanit Rachel was her name. Come what the year, reported over, in the year 1925, he would move to the land of Israel. That was 23 years before the formation of the Medinat Israel. At that stage in time, would have been 18 years of age. And I think, come what the year 1933, it would be, his father, Rabbi Yehuda, would actually come to the land of Israel with it. So he lived in Jerusalem until he passed away, Rav Shaul did. So that was many, many years in of itself, respectively. So he would study Torah with his father, Rabbi Yehuda, along with another famous rabbi who we've spoken once again also about, the famous Rabbi Salomon Mutzafi, one of the great rabbis, especially of Iraq at this point in time. And we've spoken about Rabbi Yehuda Fetaya on many occasions before. He was known as a Kabbalist and was just a brilliant rabbi of itself. He wrote amulets, his father did, interpreted dreams also. So Rav Shaul would actually learn great knowledge from his father and continued pretty much in his father's, let's say, activities until he passed away from the education of himself. Now, it's actually interesting. He would own a small bookstore across the Machane Yehuda market, famous market, actually based in Jerusalem, place we visited on this channel before. He would actually own it over there. And among those things also, I think he would, in his office in the store, it was, I think, at the place, the vicinity of the Minchat Yehuda synagogue. And he would receive, people come to him for advice within regards to especially writing amulets, within regards to dreams, so on and so forth. And so much more can be said within regards to that. It was reported over that he could diagnose illnesses by listening to the pulse of somebody, for example, and very much was connected to that. I think he was involved also reported over in practical halacha also, which we've spoken about on various occasions before. And yes, that is something we should maybe on another stage we will brush on. I think come with the year 1942, he established a yeshiva and a synagogue. This was, I think, in the same vicinity in itself, called Minchat Yehuda Le'idat Hababli'im, for the Iraqi community in Jerusalem over there. And I think this was under his father's name, Rabbi Yehuda Fetaya. This was in the year 1945. I believe this would actually move to another specific vicinity in of itself. In 1945, he moved back to a residence. I think he was living in the Navon Street, famous area in Jerusalem also. And I think at that point in time, he felt there was like a lack of communities for the Iraqi community while they were in Jerusalem, respectively. Now, he was involved within regards to Zionistic activity. Also, he was an activist. He engaged in various different public affairs, especially from the year 1929. He was elected, now it's reported over, as a secretary, as a maskir, in the year 1935 of the Hitachdut Tzeirei Aram Naharayim, reported over. This was, and I think we mentioned about this on various occasions before. I think one of the goals of this was to release prisoners from British prisons for, let's just say, people that might have entered the land of Israel within regards to, I think, connected to the Iraqi immigrants at that point in time. I think from the beginning of the Second World War, he established warehouses that were used to supply food and medicine to the needy. He was doing charity work, and he would assist in obtaining, let's say, certificates for Holocaust refugees, and very much been working in the specific realm in of itself. He was a member of the Chasdei David, a charity fund on behalf of the Iraqi community committee in of itself, and various other foundations in of itself. I think in the 1960s, he would become the chairman of the Iraqi Immigrant Association in Jerusalem. reported over he would even run for Jerusalem mayor at one stage in time. And this is, you could see how many public activities he had in of itself. And he was apparently involved in the enable the rescue work during there was an attack on Ben Yehuda Street that took place in 1948. He would actually, I think, was involved in a rescue mission over there, or helping people that might have been injured. But that is something to find out another point in time. Okay, then come with the year 1975. There was an establishment in 1975, along with his daughter Rabbanit Simcha Ovadia, with the Chazon Fetaya organization. Now, what did this entail over here? I think this was, let's just say, a project for vocational rehabilitation of people that were suffering from various different challenges, let's just say, a rehabilitation in Israel. And I think in 1979, there was expansion, I think, to the Sanhedrin neighborhood in Jerusalem. And, okay, now he passed away, I think, he passed away in the year 1982, and he was buried, reported over, next to his father in the Iraqi section of the Har HaZeitim, the Mount of Olives burial plot over there. And this was interesting. As I stated before, he was involved in dream interpretations. This was one of the things he did through Kabbalistic means in of itself. And he was reported over to have a great musical knowledge and learned a lot of the traditions and music from his father, Rabbi Yehuda Fetaya, and various different songs, which I would recommend. He was also inspiration. I think he was involved in literature and poetry, also very much involved with. And that would actually take a huge impact on his granddaughter, Chaviva Fetaya, at a later stage. She became a well-known, is a well-known person, I think, in her specific field in of itself. Now, let's explore some of his family, some of his descendants over here, just before we wrap up for today. There's so much you can say about him, but okay, I think Professor Chaviva Fetaya, I believe she happens to be, his granddaughter, if I'm not mistaken. Chana Fetaya, also, this is another one. Harab Yehuda Ovadia Fetaya. He happened to become a paitan, a chazan, a manager of a synagogue called the Minchat Yehuda. Harab Chaim Ovadia, I think, is a rabbi of the congregation called the Magen David, if I'm not mistaken, in Los Angeles. This is interesting enough. And Shaul de Malach. Also, this is interesting. Now, there was various different Torah books published and edited by him. Let's explore a few of them. I think he was involved in publication and advertising of the books and the writings of his father, and he himself would write some short introductions to them. Let's explore a few of them. Yain Harekach, this is one of them. The Matok LeNefesh, this is a parish on the Zohar. Ateret Rachel, which is Perush on Mesachet Avot, on the ethics of the fathers. The Afikei Mayim, which was on the Etz Chaim, respectively. There was a Ketet Tzaddik, which was also Drushim in of itself. Beit Lechem Yehuda, which was based on the Etz Chaim, respectively. And yeah, very interesting enough. And just to conclude the book, there was various different reflections also, I think, connected to Youth Kiryat printing in Jerusalem in 1935, which will have republishing in 1950. And much more can be stated about him. It's his Hilula. Don't forget to light candles in his memory here on the 23rd of Adar. Over here, he would be buried in Har HaZeitim, and we're talking about 43 years ago over here from the time of recording. So wishing you all a good day. Take care and be well, everyone.